Hey Bruce.
All right, please welcome Mr. Joey Sharma, just an outstanding guitar player, and we're so happy to call Joey Sharma one among the members of the Taaqademy faculty. It's been great to have you here and to have you with us, man, for the last 6 years. So
Hey, thanks,
maybe you
Bruce.
can tell us, how did you join Taaqademy? It's been like 6 years now.
I just saw a recommendation somewhere. I think Leslie had recommended that I join the school.
Thank you, Leslie. Yes, go ahead.
And yeah, so before that, I was teaching in a couple of other places here. And but so far, I think my experience at the academy has been great.
And Joey, when I first met you, I think 10, 15 years ago, you were like a very much a rock and blues guitar player. That's where you started, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. You were more into rock and blues in the beginning.
Yeah, so I grew up in Nagaland, in Dimapur, Nagaland. So there, everyone kind of plays rock and roll by default. So so the area where I was staying in, I would, if you happen to cross, or when I was growing up, if you happen to like just take a walk, maybe 4 or 5 houses down my lane, you probably hear someone playing Green Tinted 60s mine.
Oh, that big tapping intro, right? Yeah.
Right. And you had a lot of, so next to my house, there was like a thatched house, a thatched meaning made of bamboo and all that. But from inside that house, I could hear, a Marshall and a proper Jackson guitar being played. So that's how it is back there. So everyone's kind of into that 80s and yeah, mainly 80s rock. So yeah, I also grew up listening to the same sort of stuff.
So how did you go from there to what you do right now, which is, I think you're one of this country's foremost exponents on Gypsy Jazz. What is that journey like?
Okay, so after all that, I kind of I started playing a little bit of acoustic guitar, and then I actually accidentally heard Gypsy Jazz when I was playing a computer game. It's called Mafia 2, and every time you sit in this car, the radio keeps playing, and you had the song Belleville, which kept playing on the radio. So the song goes something like, wait. I mean, in something along those lines.
Wow, quite a way to discover Gypsy Jazz in a video game.
Right.
This whole journey into Gypsy Jazz was completely, you've just taught yourself, right? You didn't specifically go and learn this from somebody. You just transcribed recordings, hundreds of songs, just tried to work the whole thing out and just did the whole thing on your own.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm still learning, like I'm still a beginner in the world of Gypsy Jazz. But then after a few years, I happened to meet Siddharth, also from Taaqademy. I met him at Taaqademy, and then he was one day I walked into the Taaqademy and I heard someone playing like really, really loud guitar, like acoustic, but really banging the instrument. So I was like, who's this guy? And he was ripping some jazz sounding lines. And then yeah, that's where I met Sid, and then we decided to learn together. So I think it's more of although we're a group, as in we play together and stuff, it's more like we learn together, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we used to see you guys jamming in the back area of Taaqademy, and like every available moment, right? Every time you had a free hour, there'd be both of you just shredding, songs from Django's catalog. And I mean, I think we're the guys who came up with the name Django Twins for you guys because I mean, you couldn't be more unlike as individuals, but when you came together to play that stuff, you were incredibly the same. If there was something that you would like to tell students of music, not just your students currently, but just people who are interested in learning guitar and learning music, is there something that you would like to share? What really helped you along this journey?
Okay, so I think one thing that really helped me was focus. Basically, after a point in time, I decided that, okay, I'm going to start learning Gypsy Jazz. I'm going to start learning how to play Gypsy Jazz. And once I decided that, I decided I won't be playing other forms of music for a few years. So that's what I'm currently doing now also. So I think students should probably decide like, okay, I want to play funk for the next 5 years or your whole life. I don't know. But if you decide on one thing and then pick a master of that genre, say you want to play whatever funk, you pick some funk master from back then, and then learn his style, approach his music. I mean, try to approach that music the way he would approach it. And yeah, so if you decide on one thing, if you don't get distracted, if you learn from the masters and just give yourself a little bit of, if you have some sort of confinement, like if you have like walls, okay, you cannot do whatever you want. You have to do something that's already done. Then I think later on that would help in your vocabulary or in your general playing.
So speaking about teaching now, you've across the last 6 years, you've had all kinds of students at Taaqademy, right? And given the kind of institution we are, which is primarily catering to the people out there who want to approach music as a hobby, how have you kind of adapted to that?
Once you're able to inspire a kid, or if you're able to get a kid to practice seriously, I mean, that's I think you've accomplished the best in a student, right? Getting them to kind of practice on their own, I think that's a great thing. If you can get a student to practice on their own without any
so that's really the heart of it, right? So
yeah.
Exposing students to different styles, getting them to fall in love with different styles of music, that's one thing. But if you can teach someone to practice, then pretty much you've taught them everything that they need to know, right? It's just that
and you're just guiding them. You're not really teaching them anymore.
So Joey, yeah, if you'd like to share maybe a quick lick or two, some of the things that you practice on a daily basis, some things that really help you on your current journey of trying to be the best gypsy jazz guitar player around. Maybe you could do that.
I think gypsy jazz has a general minor flavor to it. So I'll just try it on a minor lick. So if I were playing something like that'll probably be more of a blues or rock thing. Now that would be more in the style of gypsy. So
okay.
I think the difference would be, so I'm going to the third and the fourth and the fifth from the root. Minor third, fourth, and fifth. Now here, I would probably go for this generic A minor shape, and I would do like something like an ornamentation. And I think that's the simplicity in this music is what draws some of us to this music, because it's it's kind of old, but at the same time it's not pretentious. In the sense, it's very simple. So you know what you're going to hear when you listen to gypsy jazz. You'll probably hear some arpeggios and some minor sounding lines.
Yes, that of course can take most of a lifetime to figure out. Such simple music. But that's the way music goes. So Joey, it's been great chatting with you. It's been great having you with Taaqademy for the last 6 years. Joey Sharma is one of our senior most guitar faculty members at Taaqademy and works with all kinds of students. And it's just great to have a musician of this caliber working here at Taaqademy. So Joey, thank you so much for joining us for this
Thanks, Bruce, for the kind words.
Interview, and of course for being with us for this long.
Thanks, Bruce. Thanks. You guys have been great at Taaqademy, and I've had a great time so far.